Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.
Hello and welcome to the latest edition of NEWSWAVE, written, produced and recorded in the heart of Cornwall by the team here at Chaos Radio. I'm your host, Tom Howe, and I'll be guiding you through some of the insightful guests and exciting news content that we've enjoyed across Chaos Radio this past week. On today's show, we join Anneliese Warburton and Katie Mutton to mark World Mental Health Awareness Day and look ahead to For Cornwall by Cornwall, a unique event at Falmouth's Maritime Museum that's taking place later this week. We check in with Cllr James Mustoe to learn about the St Austell Tidy Up team, how the group began, how it's grown, and why their volunteer-led Little Picks are making a real difference. As well as that, we take a trip to Mevagissey Rowing Club, who recently hosted its first ever family activity day, inviting locals of all ages to get involved in rowing and community fun. We hear from the team at the newly launched Chi Austel, taking a closer look at how the welcoming space in White River Place is bringing essential services together under one roof. And we welcome Helen Wilson-Prowse from YMCA Cornwall, who discusses a special fundraising concert featuring top Cornish musicians Will Keating, John Dowling and Ben Sutcliffe in support of work with their young people aged 16 to 24 at risk of homelessness in the Duchy. NEWSWAVE. Friday the 10th of October marks World Mental Health Day, and here in Cornwall a powerful event is taking place to mark it at Falmouth's Maritime Museum. For Cornwall by Cornwall is more than just your usual conference though. It's a celebration of collective efforts to improve mental health support across the region. With workshops, talks and a public showcase in the afternoon, it's a chance for professionals and the public alike to connect and be inspired. Now, joining me to talk about the event and why it matters so much are two of the wonderful organisers behind the day's events. NEWSWAVE. First of all, I'll start with you, Anneliese, if I can. Would you mind just introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your role as well, please?
Yeah, of course. So thank you so much. My name's Anneliese. I joined the NHS only 5 months ago. Very excited to be working in communications and engagement in the community mental health team. So have been involved with all the wonderful partners to support with organising the event. Amazing.
And Katie, if I can just move to you.
Yeah, so my name's Katie and I work at Pentreath and I do similar as Anneliese, really, on communication and engagement. So my job's about going around the county, talking to people about mental health and where they can gain some support.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Let's move it on now to World Mental Health Day. It sounds very grand, doesn't it? The inspiration behind For Cornwall by Cornwall. I was actually at the event last year, but for those who weren't, could you just tell us what it's all about, please?
Yeah, so I think it's in the title, isn't it? For Cornwall by Cornwall. It is about mental health here in Cornwall. It's about recognising that mental health is here, that people need support and where they can get support from. And there's so many things here in Cornwall. There's so much support, but it's finding it. And I think that's with anything in terms of mental health, is that you can suddenly start struggling with your mental health. You may not have ever had a problem before, but where do you go? Where do you get that help from? So the more we can talk about mental health, the more we can let people know what support is out there, the better. So that's kind of part of what the day is about, really.
And who's this event aimed at? And as well as that, what can people expect who are attending on the day?
So it's predominantly aimed at people that are working within mental health. You know, if you're working in mental health, the chances are you have a caseload full of people who are in need of support. And the thing is, here in Cornwall, is not one company can do everything. You know, when I started working in mental health 16 years ago at Pentreath, we were predominantly just supporting people with their well-being. But now we are supporting people with their well-being. We're helping them back to work. We're helping them into voluntary work. We're also looking at benefits. We're looking at housing. We're looking at the fact that people are claiming food bank vouchers. There's so many other things going on. So I think a part of the day, and the bit that's really powerful for me, is it gives people the opportunity to network, and it gives them the opportunity to find out what's going on so they can signpost the people on their caseload to the right support. And it just allows everybody here to be working collaboratively. And I think the more we can all work together, the better we can help the people on our caseloads.
I think it's really important to say as well, mental health isn't a dirty word, is it? It's not just confined, is it, to clinics or waiting rooms. It's a real part of our communities and our everyday life. It shouldn't be just pushed away into some shadow or corridor somewhere. How does this event then reflect that broader sort of lived experience and the support that's available from so many different sources and aspects in everyone's communities?
It just gets us talking about it. 1 in 4 people are going to experience poor mental well-being at some point. People hear the words mental health and don't realise that that's a general term. We all have mental health. Mental health is a positive thing. It's when it comes to the point that we can't manage it is when it becomes poor mental well-being. So it's important to recognise that as well. And a lot of the people that come to the day, some of our guest speakers have experienced poor mental well-being, and it's about listening to them and listening to their journey. By listening to that, it brings it to life. It makes it real. It reminds the people working in mental health as to why we do our job. And it can be hard sometimes. Working in mental health isn't always easy. And when you have somebody in front of you and they're talking to you about their journey and how they have got through with support, it really encourages you to keep doing your job. And it just inspires you.
Excellent. Okay, look, you're bringing together such a wide range of partners for this event that's coming up, aren't you? Can you share a bit about the collaboration behind the day and who will be joining you?
So the event is organised by a group of organisations. We're all part of a working group, all inputting into the day. So organisations such as Pentreath, the NHS, Cornwall Mind, Cornwall VSF, CRCC, Chaos, Eden, Cornwall College, Active Plus, Volunteer Cornwall, and of course we couldn't do the event without all of our wonderful volunteers. So we have a great team of volunteers who will be joining us on the day, supporting the day, and we couldn't be here without.
The afternoon is open to the public as well, isn't it? What kind of services and support will people be able to explore, just everyday people?
Yeah, so the event is absolutely open to the public in the afternoon. So from 1:30 onwards, the public are very welcome to come and enjoy the day. So there's a carousel of talks and workshops and marketplace stands of all the incredible organisations throughout the county that will be here talking about in what ways they can support people. So people are very welcome to come and join us.
Amazing.
I think it's about as well recognising that you don't need to be suffering with mental health to come in and find out information. We need everybody to know where you can get support from your mental health, because if there's 1 in 4 people that are going to experience it at some point, it could be a best friend, it could be your nan, it could be somebody that that you work with. We just need people to know the information and know what's out there, because then people are going to be able to access support quicker.
And what a brilliant venue you've got.
It's beautiful. We've been here today and there's a huge cruise ship which we've been admiring. So there's beautiful views, and it's a wonderful place to be. There's so many opportunities to have quiet talks, to workshops, to the networking areas. So there's lots of different things to see, and of course they've got the surf exhibition downstairs, which is just amazing. There's so many different surf boards down there, and we're going to have the Wave Project down there doing different talks about it all. So we're very excited about that bit as well.
What do you hope that people take away from the event then, whether they're professionals or they're members of the public?
I think if you're a professional, again, it's about inspiring you to continue to do your job, to help people, to recognise what support is out there that you can signpost people to.
Empowering people as well, giving them the tools and the knowledge, coming along, speaking to these great organisations and going, I might know of someone who could really benefit from this, and going away and having those conversations and feeling empowered to do so, and knowing where they can send people for support.
Brilliant. Okay, look, I don't want to put a dampener on things because this is an incredible event and we want as many people to support it, but there's a day for everything, isn't it? Having a day to mark something is so important. Though. Don't get me wrong, but what about the legacy then of For Cornwall by Cornwall? How do you intend to build on the great work of this event all year round, not just sort of for one day when we all get together and showcase all the services? What about all year round? How do you intend to build on this event?
Well, I think that's what we're trying to promote is collaboration, that we all need to work together to support the people of Cornwall. Sometimes funding streams don't get down to Cornwall. We hear a lot of things that might happen up around London, some really good stuff. And sometimes you can feel like we're out on a limb down here. So I think the more we can work together, the better support that we can put in place. And it's just recognising that we are in the most beautiful county. It is an honour to live in Cornwall. You can really support your own well-being by going to the beach, by walking through the woods, taking in that fresh air. But if we can all work together, I truly believe that we can move more people forward.
Yeah, I'd really agree. I think it really is about bringing all those organisations together and a space for people to come along and openly network and speak openly to one another and really educate themselves of what is available in this county as well. There's so, as Katie said, there's so many incredible organisations. So yeah, to come along and get a snapshot of that even is a really great takeaway from the day, hopefully.
So just finally, before we let you go, can you just remind our listeners how they can get involved, either by attending or supporting you as well? Where's the best place for them to look and to snap up a ticket as well?
So I think if you're an organisation and would like to come along, so the event is in two parts. We have the morning, so from 9:30, that is open to organisations to come along, network, enjoy the marketplace, enjoy all of the wonderful talks we have going on, all of the brilliant workshops. Come along and network. The event is also open to the public, so you're very welcome to come along. I think clear message-wise from us is if you are an organisation, you can visit our Eventbrite and sign up via the link on there. If you're public and want to come along in the afternoon, yes, public do not need to register for a ticket, so just come along and join us. We're here 9:30 till 4. Come along and join us.
NEWSWAVE.
Now, keeping our communities clean is no small task, but here in St Austell, a group of dedicated volunteers is making a real difference, one local litter pick at a time. I spoke to Cllr James Mustoe, one of the founders of the St Austell's Tidy Up team, to hear how the group started, how it's grown, and why community action matters so much.
NEWSWAVE.
St Austell Tidy Up Team was a initiative that I founded with a guy who used to be a councillor called Richard Pears in St Austell, and we did it for the two of us, and we were literally just going out before work, so really early in the morning, because that was the only time we had to do litter picks in hot spots around the St Austell area. So we would get up and go out at 7 o'clock in the morning, spend half an hour picking up litter, have a chat, set the world to rights, and then be on our way into work. And it was a really good way to just give a little back. Then last year, I think right at the beginning of 24, Pat Smith, aka Action Nan, approached me and said that she'd been looking to expand her litter picking group and wanted to do something, because a lot of her litter picking groups primarily focus for people who aren't working for whatever reason, retirees and so on, and they take place in the weekday and people can't do them, and she wanted to do something for the weekends. And so we actually expanded the St Austell Tidy Up team into a more formal community litter picking group, and we've got quite a large number now of volunteers who are part in our WhatsApp group and on our Facebook page, and we try to have litter picks around the St Austell area roughly every fortnight, and we've picked up probably tons of litter and really hopefully made a big difference in St Austell and the surrounding area during that time over the past year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you've lived in the area and represented the area in different circles for a number of years now. Where does your passion for the area come from? And it's also so nice as well to see that there are like-minded people supporting with projects like this. Yeah,
I am passionate about making the area that I represent and Cornwall as a whole a better place. My journey to be a councillor, I think I started it, as many people do, moaning in the pub with a load of mates back in probably the early 2010s sort of thing. And we were moaning about everything like people do. And I thought to myself, why, instead of moaning about something, why don't I actually stand up and do something about it? So instead of just moaning, actually being part of the solution rather than just moaning about the problems. And so I got involved in the local political scene at the time and tried to get elected, I think for the first time in 2013, didn't get elected, and then stood again in a by-election in 2014, again for my home seat, which was Mevagissey at the time, and got elected in 2014, and I think I've won 4 elections since then, and yes, I'm still here. People must like what I do to some extent, and I'm very grateful to be their councillor. And it is, it's always an interesting time being a councillor, because you never quite know what's going to come up next. And I've got my own plans, what I'd like to see for my local area and for the wider Cornwall. But it's always always an interesting thing. You can be like doing one thing in the morning, and you could have a really random inquiry come in the afternoon, and you could be running around.
My question's twofold next. What areas are you covering? Is it sort of your constituency area, or is it just St Austell, like it says on the tin? And secondly as well, can you bring us in on a motion you raised earlier this week regarding that kind of field?
Yeah, so in terms of the areas that St Austell Tidy Up team covers, I was always very clear that it isn't just about me and the area that I represent as a Cornwall councillor. I mean, I live in St Austell, and I know that St Austell needs a lot of TLC itself, and the people who volunteer with us, they come from around the area. We've got some who come from as far afield as Parr. Some of our best volunteers, John and Christine Morecambe, come from there every time, and we cover actually a really large area. So we do St Austell quite a lot, the town centre, but we go down to up to, I would say, the outskirts of the Clays, Treverbin Parish. When the A391 was closed for the resurfacing, I asked Cormac to allow us to walk down the closed main road and litter pick all the way down there, which was quite an interesting experience. I mean, I'm very lucky that I've spent time, and Pat Smith as well, to give her credit, has set up some really amazing community groups, as I mentioned earlier, in places like Charlestown and Mevagissey. So they don't necessarily need our group to go in and help them, because they've already got it running down there. But we can, fill in, because we're on social media. We can people can contact us and let us know if a particular issue comes up, and then we can go and deal with it. So that's that element. And then you asked me about a motion that I raised at full council this past Tuesday. So this is off the back of my work with others with the St Austell Tidy Up team and the various things that I do. I have been thinking up for most of this year, actually, a motion which was it's called Keep Cornwall Clean, and it's basically to work for it's a motion that went to full council on Tuesday, and it was we had a debate, and it was passed with only one person voting or abstaining, essentially, but everyone else voted for it. And it's Keep Cornwall Clean is basically to use the resources that Cornwall Council and its partners, so Clean Cornwall, Biffa, Suez and Cormac have, to highlight, promote the resources that we have to enable groups like the St Austell Tidy Up team to come together across Cornwall to clean up and do some positive activity in our communities. We actually had a really interesting debate, and if you go on the Cornwall Council webcast section on their website, you can find it on YouTube. A really good debate. People were talking about, other councillors were talking about the similar groups to the St Austell Tidy Up team in their areas, and it was a really good example of why having a combined litter strategy like this, where these groups can come together, they can support each other, they can have best practice, they can have a forum of peers, and really drive that positive change. And it isn't just about picking the litter up, which is a really good thing. There's numerous documented mental health wellbeing things of people coming out and getting together in activities like this, and it's just there isn't a downside to it. I mean, you can, if you're not aware of this, Cornwall Council and Clean Cornwall, you can book litter picks through the Clean Cornwall website. They will provide you with insurance. They will provide you with equipment. Cornwall Council will pick up the litter once you've picked it. And in terms of the community gardening that we do, Cormac will provide tools. They will provide insurance, and they will again pick up any of the stuff that you've picked up. So we did some stuff at our War Memorial in Mevagissey over the weekend. 7 of us came together and spent an hour, and we filled 3 dumpy bags full of organic waste, which Cornwall Council or Biffa, Cormac came and took away on the Monday. So it's all things that we can do. Cornwall Council, we don't have very much money, but we can facilitate volunteers who want to go out and do the good things for their communities, and that's what the Clean Cornwall or Keep Cornwall Clean motion is all about.
Wonderful. Well, we look forward to hearing more about that in the days, weeks and months to come. I just wonder, I've got a couple of more quick questions for you. I just wonder what sort of the hotspots are for you in the areas that you're working in. So in terms of litter or overgrown areas, what where's your focus? Because I'm sure the same places might have similar issues ongoing. Are you working to sort of educate people around litter and maybe looking after their area a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly a culture change that we need to all think about, really. You certainly see it. There was with regards to beach cleaning, instead of coming out for an organised beach clean every time, instead every time we visit the beach, just pick up some litter when you're there. Pick it up and take it home with you, or put it in the public waste bins. I think it should just be second nature. I think there are what I like to call grot spots in St Austell. Inevitably, they are the places where you can tidy it up, and you can guarantee that if you come back in a couple of months' time, there'll be just as much rubbish there. And I think that's sadly quite often slightly out of town places where people park up. They might have their McDonald's. Sorry to pick on a particular brand, but it's quite a numerous find, and then they throw it out the window, and it's always that sort of thing. And energy drinks, for some reason, are a particular annoyance, but we find lots of those. And it's about I mean, one of the things that we do is highlight it on social media. Whenever I'm involved in a litter pick, I always like to put before and after photographs, and sometimes I'll do a video if it's a particularly interesting find or a particularly annoying find. Like, for instance, this isn't a litter pick, but it's a sort of we did a beating the bounds. We walked all the way around the St Austell Bay parish a couple of weeks ago, and we walked up a really, really steep hill on the coast path in between Porthpearn and Trenaran. And at the top of this steep hill, just before a stile, there was a bucket that the farmer had left for something to do with the sheep, and people must have, over the space of the summer months, filled it full of litter. And it was so annoying, because I can request that Cormac come and pick that up, but it's just a pain to go up and get it, I can imagine. And but I was sufficiently moved that I did a little video about that and shared it on Facebook, and it got probably a few thousand views, and hopefully just raises awareness that this sort of thing isn't acceptable.
I did see your David Attenborough style video with a shopping trolley that was discarded recently as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a sort of method to the madness, because you do, it can be very dry, this whole councillor business, and I like to think that if you just put a bit of fun into it, make it a bit quirky. So I have the David Attenborough trolley thing, and I do a lot of things with pointing at things, which sometimes gets a bit of traction. It just makes it a bit more, people are more likely to look at it if it's a bit unusual. But it is actually there is a serious message there in the fact that I'm highlighting an issue that needs to be fixed.
Indeed. If people listening today have been inspired to perhaps join the Tidy Up team or one of the organisations here locally, because there are quite a few springing up, which is really great to see, or if they want to find out more information, where's the best place to look?
Well, I mean, just with regards to the St Austell Tidy Up team, we have a Facebook page. If you message us on the Facebook page, we can then add you to our WhatsApp group, which is what we use to arrange our litter picks. In terms of the wider Cornwall wide diaspora of litter picking organisations, at the moment the best place is the Clean Cornwall website, which has where you can actually look at and find out information on all the litter picks around Cornwall that they're involved with, and they support hundreds of litter picks every year across Cornwall, the excellent people at Clean Cornwall. And again, that's one of the things with my recent motion, I'd like to really help them and with Cornwall Council's backing, push that and make it more of a feature to let people know about the excellent work that's already being done, so more people can take part.
NEWSWAVE.
Right, I'm Tom Howe and you're listening to NEWSWAVE on Chaos Radio. Mevagissey Rowing Club recently threw open its doors for its very first family activity day, welcoming locals of all ages to try their hand at rowing and a whole host of other activities too. Now, I caught up with Carrie, the club's chair, and some of their members to find out what the day was all about, why rowing is such a big part of village life, and how the club is working to bring the community together, both on and off the water.
NEWSWAVE.
Hi Tom, I'm Carrie and I'm the chair of Mevagissey Rowing Club. And this is our first ever family activity day, and it's sort of designed to really engage the community and share what we love about rowing, and as well as some of the peripheral elements such as singing and knot tying, and we've even got some bird net feed making, which frankly isn't very linked to rowing, but still good fun. And we've got people doing ergo challenges as well, so it's kind of like a thing for the whole family, for us to kind of interact and connect with the community.
For people that aren't aware then, tell us about the benefits and the community that comes from being part of your local rowing club.
Well, there's huge benefits. I mean, there's the obvious kind of physical benefits in terms of being able to get out there and get fitter and enjoy being in the boat. There's the well-being experience of actually being on the boat and experiencing the beautiful coastline that we have down here. There's also the social element and getting to know people, and a lot of people have joined the rowing club who've either new to the area or have come to the point where they want to kind of expand their social group. So it's a great thing for your whole well-being and sort of social as well as physical being.
And today is a good example to show what a role you're playing in giving back to the community as well. You've got quite a number of people here today, a number of families trying out all different things and getting their face painted too, just like yourself.
Yes, exactly. We're extremely grateful to the Cornwall Community Fund who've allowed and supported us doing this. So the event here, we've got I think in excess of 50 people who have all come, plus 20 plus people from the club. So there's over 70 of us all having fun on a quite damp Sunday, and getting people out on the water, which is wonderful. So it's a real mix. I mean, I think we've got people as young as 3 and people as old, St Martin, forgive me, and Liz into their 70s. So big age range.
As with running any organisation, it must come with its challenges as well. But today you've got a huge amount of your volunteers that have come together in support to show what seems like a huge amount of young people, the opportunities and the legacy of what happens when you do get involved with your local club, which is really nice to see.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and I think we were surprised at the popularity when people bought the tickets really quickly, and half the people are here, as you say, young people, 3 to 17, and which is wonderful to get them exposed. And I think some of them have been really excited about getting in the boat, whether they're rowing or just seated and experiencing that. So a great opportunity, and really part of the reason why we were trying to attract young families. Part one was to get young people interested in rowing early. But also to give their parents an opportunity to get in the boat and see that actually it's something that a whole family can do together.
Amazing. There are so many distractions for a young person, isn't there? There's, I know my little boy is wanting to watch the television or go outside and play football or do something like this. And actually living on the coast, we are so blessed here with so many different chances and so many different things. And you can see today those opportunities are here, and the club is friendly and welcoming too. Where can people, if they weren't here today, find out more information or get in touch with yourselves?
Well, Facebook is our favourite method of getting in touch, and we're doing rowing tasting sessions. And now, as we move into the winter, it'll be Sunday mornings that we'll be out. So we'd love you to get in touch and come along and see us. We row out of Port Mellon. That's where the boat is housed, and we love to kind of experience it and share the joy of rowing with people. So come along and just give us a shout on Facebook if you're interested.
Brilliant. And just a few months ago we were talking about an epic fundraising challenge. We know sort of how much was raised and what that money's going towards?
Yes, so we raised just shy of, between £5,500 and £6,000. We've still got some monies we know that are coming, so it's probably going to be more around the 6,000 side. And that money is going towards, we are putting some money towards the RNLI and the Fisherman's Mission, as well as we've commissioned a new boat. And in fact, that is going to be started next week. So we've been successful, as well as other fundraising opportunities. We have raised enough now to commission the boat. So we're really excited.
That's so exciting. Any idea of a name just yet?
No, so but the preference seems to be Cornish names. So I'm sure if anyone has any thoughts, any ideas, we'd love to hear them. I think we've all got some ideas. And our last boat was called Lamborek, and she went over to the Netherlands. And kind of like as a weird, interesting thing, our rowing secretary, Tristan, became Bard of Lamborek yesterday. So very exciting. I'm very proud for him as well. So
it's all going on down in this little corner of the world. I did hear someone mention Giggy McGigface earlier. So if you're putting it to a public vote, make sure that individual, which I'll mention off air, doesn't get the invite.
Yep, agreed.
Okay, my name's Ben. I joined the rowing club in May this year because I live in the village and see the gig going out. I've just really taken to it. It's just really relaxing, real stress buster. And great to feel part of the community and feel like fit in somewhere, so that's why I do it.
Was rowing something you'd done previously?
No, I'd never done it before, no. My brother's done it, my younger brother's done it. Yeah, I just fancy doing it.
There you go. So now we're May, June, July, August, September, a few months down the line. How are you finding it?
Every time you go out is different. Sometimes you're really good, sometimes you're really rubbish. It's learning not to take things too personally when somebody gives you some direction, which you might not always necessarily want. But it's all in good spirits and people just want you to do well, which and they're really championing you to do well. So that feels good, and so you feel part of a team.
And in terms of the club itself as well, we've seen today so many people coming out in support of the day here at Mevagissey Activity Centre. Nice thing to be involved in, isn't it? And seeing so many people sort of either see rowing or test it out for the very first time.
Yeah, I think if you live in the village, why would you not give it a try and support it? Because it is a real integral part of the community here and makes you feel more embedded and part of that by being involved with something that's fun.
And you can get your face painted like these two down here. I noticed you two haven't yet. Can I ask you to come in at this point and introduce yourself and tell me about your journey with Mevagissey Rowing Club as well?
Yep, sure. I'm Sam. I joined Mevagissey Rowing Club in May of this year. Started out in the novices evenings, which are on Wednesdays, and just went from there with it really, and found it's a really good way to keep fit and get involved with everybody in the village, but also met a lot of new people. Socially it's been really good and made lots of new friends, so it's great to go out with all the crews and really learn. And I gone from sort of novices to training now for the B team to train out of Newquay with to go out of Newquay with all the men's team. So yeah, so that's going to be a completely new experience to actually do a proper race. But yeah, it's been a brilliant experience, and it's just a great way to keep fit and get involved with everybody.
Great. And what would be your advice be for people, maybe the advice that you got back in May, your advice to people that are going to potentially join the club in the future, that are thinking about it but they're not quite convinced just yet? What would your words of encouragement be to them? I'll go for both of you because you might have different pieces.
I would say don't be nervous about it at all. If you've got any sort of anxieties about things, don't worry about it. Everyone's really nice. They're a really nice bunch of people. You're not going to necessarily pick it up straight away. You'll get there in the end. And the thing is, it's actually quite a fun journey, especially you're going out on evenings. It's beautiful scenery. We've got dolphins in the bay. What more could you ask for, really? And I think that's the special thing about it. So, yeah.
Perfect. And yourself?
I would say, yeah, just give it a chance. You might surprise yourself with how you take to it, or indeed if you don't. But you will never know unless you give it a go. So that's would be my advice, is do something that's out of your comfort zone and see how you get on.
NEWSWAVE.
OK, Cornwall Council has taken a fresh approach to frontline services with the launch of Chi Austel, the new name for the St Austell service hub in White River Place. Meaning a house of Austell in Cornish, the hub brings together key services like the family hub and registrars in one welcoming space. I went over to take a closer look at what it means for the community.
NEWSWAVE.
Yeah, I must admit we are incredibly lucky to have such a lovely new large building right in the middle of St Austell. So when you come to the family hub, you have a separate entrance to the rest of the building, which we're which is all about children and families. We've got a lot of very adaptable spaces with numerous resources. Our services range from 0 to 25 with children and with special needs. So we are incredibly lucky to have this space, which is already really well used. In the midst of it, there is a lovely sensory room, which is designed with the Portage team, and it covers all senses, and by the looks of today, it's going to be hugely successful, and I'm pleased to say at the moment we can offer it to all families in the area. So please come and have a look, because it is your family hub. It's not the council, it's not the council workers, it is for the public.
And what sort of, when we talk about a family hub, what sort of services do you provide for people? If people are maybe facing some challenges, let's detail some of the work that you actually do here that might be applicable to supporting them.
Well, so children and families, they come with a really complex network of needs, and depending on what that need is, we will try and direct them, form them, or have direct work with the services that are needed, and that might range from neonatal services, specific health visiting appointments. It might be through play therapy, perhaps, a bit of counselling here and there. Parenting is a big part of this, and we run courses from the hub, which also we are very lucky to have a hybrid screen, which means we can invite anybody in through the screen as well. So you feel like you're in the room, but you might not be able to attend. So for our working parents, we have a whole range of parenting courses available. But also if you like to meet other parents, which is a really good way to do it, you can come and sit in a very cosy sofa and be provided with tea and coffee while you have go through the course. So that's another thing that we do, and actually that's for anybody as well. You don't have to have a specific need. It's actually a very good foundation for anyone. We also have lots of services around special educational needs that operate from here, and now of course some of those are even more delighted to see the sensory room, because we haven't had that in St Austell before, so it's a real bonus. There's courses around for around mental health, actually very key for parents and for the children as well. And that might be one-to-one, or it might be group work as well. We have a kitchen, which perhaps a targeted youth worker might come in and bring one of their young people in and do a cooking exercise, for example, which is fantastic. Or we might have Healthy Cornwall, running one of their sessions, a Ready Steady Eat course, which is or a weaning course, or they have a whole range of services that happen in family hubs. You might come across Wild, who run courses or run sessions for young people parents who are 0 to 25. And there's Home Start as well, that many people know about, but that is operating from here now. So lovely stay and play groups. Need to network, of people and make new friends. Great place to be. Through to, a whole other range. I've got endless lists of people that come and book the spaces. So, I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. It's a real home, isn't it, for so many different services that you might have to sometimes travel miles for, that aren't quite accessible, that are all sort of spread out across the county, and you're really accessible here. And what I've noticed as well is it's such a welcoming environment here, because we are dealing with situations that are challenging, and you want to provide a safe space, a comfortable space for people going through challenging times. And that's what's really struck me, the effort that's gone in to make sure that this is that welcoming, enticing place that people will come to and keep coming to should they need to. They're not going to be frightened away.
Well, the services here are, is that for that early support, really, is to make sure that actually if there is something has not gone quite well, as well as it should be, then actually something can be put in place very quickly. And that's some of our service. Obviously, some of the more specialised services, we also will be using our spaces as well.
And you're right in the heart of town here in St Austell, aren't you? You're on a very accessible pathway. There's public transport into the area. There's parking being here too. People, it might not feel so, we used the word clinical in the tour a second ago, it might not feel as clinical for some people as other places might do. It's a far more welcoming place straight out of here. Instead of having to drive home and thinking about it, they might be able to go do some shopping and really integrate it into their everyday lives, making it a more comfortable experience rather than taking time out of their day, having to think about it on the drive home, all this kind of stuff. It actually works for them as well.
So if anybody is going to come, and I hope they will, please remember to bring your car registration with you if you're parking in the multi-storey car park, and go to the main reception, and they will give you free parking for the time that you're in the family hub.
Brilliant. Okay. And if people want to find out more information or drop in or, look into the services that are available, maybe reach out to you, where's the best place to do that? Can people just arrive? Do they need to book in? Do they need to look online? How does it all work?
You can look at our information pages. You can certainly, of course, call in. We've got information in the reception area. We will always signpost people to the most appropriate service.
Excellent. And today is your open day. What kind of feedback have you been receiving? There's a lot of people and a lot of organisation all mingling just in the rooms next to us.
It's a great opportunity for not only families but for professionals to cross paths, and the more and more of that will happen as well here, which is a huge benefit to everybody. So we know what we all provide and who to provide it and or who to refer to. But yeah, I would say to people, please do come and see us. We'll always greet you, we'll always be civil, and we will always give you some information.
NEWSWAVE.
And finally this week, YMCA Cornwall are hosting a very special fundraising concert at St Austell Hall on Friday, featuring three of Cornwall's best musicians, Will Keating, John Dowling and Ben Sutcliffe, in support of their work with young people aged 16 to 24 at risk of homelessness in the Duchy. During their recent open day, I met with their operations manager, Helen Wilson-Prowse, to learn more about the campaign, the impact of their work, and how the community can get involved.
NEWSWAVE.
So I'm Helen Wilson-Prowse. I'm Head of Operations here at YMCA Cornwall, based in Penzance. My role in a nutshell is, I guess, keeping the place going. I manage over half of the team here, which includes the maintenance team, housekeeping, coffee shop admin, and I'm part of the senior management team that essentially run the organisation.
And Helen, we're here today to enjoy your open day. First of all, thanks so much for the invite. For people that couldn't make it, could you just tell us a little bit about the makeup of today and why it's so important?
Yes, certainly. So lots of people don't actually realise what YMCA Cornwall does. So it's very much about awareness raising. So we provide supported accommodation for homeless or those at risk, aged between 16 and 25. They can stay with us for a period of 2 years, and throughout that time we give them support to overcome any challenges that they may have. Awareness raising is part of today, but also fundraising. Our waiting list generally stands at between 40 and 50 people, which is quite shocking, really. So we're really keen to be able to expand our offer. Currently we have 50 self-contained units on site, but we have planning permission to build an additional 4. That 4 might seem a drop in the ocean, but it is 4 more homes that we can provide. So today's really important to help raise some of those funds.
You've had some royal supports and you've had some further support today from a local foundation who've just presented you with a rather large cheque.
Yes, so the royal support, we were very, very grateful to receive a £70,000 donation through Prince William's charitable foundation for Cornwall, and today we're delighted to welcome the Charles Reynolds Foundation. We applied for a grant towards the fundraising campaign, and they appeared today with a cheque for £5,000. The total project cost to deliver the 4 new flats is $250,000, and right now we're standing at about 147. So fantastic progress, but still a way to go.
There's long been a narrative around Cornwall's housing crisis, it's been called, isn't it? Can I just get your opinion on how things stand, the difference that you're trying to make, and what raising money for things like this will mean to the people of Cornwall?
Yes, the housing crisis is definitely evident. The young people that come to us, we support them for a 2-year period. It's then what happens next, and that's the biggest challenge. Where do they go after they leave here? Private rental is extremely expensive. Social housing, arguably, there isn't enough. And that is a real challenge for us and for the young people we support. So building 4 new flats, enables us to do that little bit more. And it's our first step, I hope, in a sort of longer term campaign to be able to provide more accommodation for people.
Can you just talk us through some of the challenges, aside from sort of housing that you're facing with the residents here, but also some of the success stories as well, which I think are really important to get across?
Yes, absolutely. So this last week, we've had residents celebrating exam results. Charlie, a relatively new resident, has just excelled in his media qualification, and he's going on to do another college course. Last year we had various residents going off to university, studying all sorts of different courses, so really successful. So we don't succeed, unfortunately, with all residents. The nature of what we do means that the people who are coming to us have faced challenges in their lives. Our housing support team do an amazing job trying to overcome those challenges, but we're not always successful, and some people do have to leave us. But that's what we're here for, to do the best we can.
You've got a wonderful site here as well, don't you? A rather old building here in beautiful Penzance, which looks wonderful under the sunshine today. You just gave us the tour of the building and the different rooms, the different types of rooms for the residents here, but also the sort of play area where you had the snooker, the pool table, the televisions, outside we saw the garden. It's a real place for creativity. How do you work with the residents here to try and support them?
In various different ways. I think one of the most important things, first and foremost, is giving them security. And so by providing that home, gives them that. Once they feel secure, we can start to build their confidence. And so those communal spaces are really, really important to enable residents to build their confidence, work and meet with other residents, learn social skills. And then the housing support team do various activities. So we teach people how to cook if they've not had much experience in that field, how to budget, batch cooking, all of those life skills that perhaps you and I take for granted. Sometimes we have to start with those very basic things.
And you touched upon it earlier, this is a service that's very much needed as well, isn't it? And you can't support everybody, and you do have quite a large waiting list, don't you?
We do, unfortunately. So we have 50 units of accommodation, and our waiting list generally stands between 40 and 50 people. Sadly, a lot of those young people are aged 16, so it's really important that we're able to offer more accommodation to support those people. In the whole of Cornwall, there's only 170 places like ours, so it shows the vital importance of the work of YMCA Cornwall, because we currently have 50 and soon to have 54. I think in terms of the campaign, if people are able to donate, they can go onto our website, which is ymcacornwall.org. Recognise it's really challenging financial times for everybody, but every penny helps. There's 600,000 people in Cornwall. If everybody gave £1, we'd be well over our target. But also if there's any tradespeople, building firms, building suppliers, all of those people, they can help us. We have an in-house maintenance team who have converted many a flat. They're fantastic, but there are some skills we don't have. So when we get to the stage, we'll be doing a DIY SOS type shout out and looking for plasterers, painters, decorators, and anybody that can supply materials to help bring the project cost down.
NEWSWAVE.
Tell me about YMCA Cornwall.
So it's a housing group for young people, and it gives them that supported housing that they need when they're in difficult situations or other issues have arose and they need somewhere to live, and it provides that for people, and it's just a real supportive network.
And how long have you been involved with YMCA Cornwall?
So I've been here for 2 years, and I've just now got a move-on flat, and I move on Monday. And so I'll get another 2 years of support with these people, and they're just so helpful.
Young people should have the chance to sort of have that sort of independence and sort of like gain adulthood, if that makes sense. I mean, certainly when I was in a interim accommodation, I never thought I would actually get here. I was very low. It's not over. I mean, there's other options here. The staff here will help you out massively. I mean, don't be afraid to come up and ask, because it is, support is here. If you're ever feeling like that, there's support here. When I first got here, I was a little sceptical, but then I sort of like got used to it. I sort of saw it as my home, basically. And the staff here have done wonderfully. I mean, they've helped me out so much. I mean, at one point, I never thought I would actually get into here. I never thought I would get into such a big flat such as that. I think I'm very lucky compared to some other younger people here in Cornwall. I think people may look at Cornwall as sort of like a holiday destination, but it's very different living here.
So I was in an abusive relationship, and this was with a family member, and they were where I was staying, and so I came to the YMCA, and they provided me somewhere to escape, and they've given me a home and somewhere that I can feel safe, and I've been able to grow and learn how to be independent.
My time here so far has been amazing. I have done a lot more than I would have back about a year ago. I've just done a college course, passed that, so looking on going ahead on something else. Also helping out with the open day today with my room being on show. So yeah, everything's like really good here, like. So we have each a supported social worker, a supported worker here. So if you've got any questions or if you've got any like appointments that you're worried of, you can go to them and they help you. Like they can take you shopping if you can't get out. They can help you in ways that not very many people can help out there, and they make you feel really comfortable and welcome here. It feels like your own home. It's just love here.
So I actually have a friend who contacted me within the week and asked me about this exact situation. They were like, how did you move out? How did you get support? And I told them about it, and they've emailed the YMCA, because there are a lot of people that might not even realise that they're in these situations that need that support and that help. And it's just, if you feel like there may be something wrong, you can come to the YMCA and you can ask for a session and you can talk to these people before even moving in, and they'll give you their advice, because they're all people and they've had these experiences, and it's just a great place to start and maybe find your journey.
You don't even have to be a resident here. You can be a member of the public, and you can come here and hang out in the cafe, have a session one-to-one if you've got any worries. So it's not just for us young people, it's for everyone out there.
So I just wanted to say the staff are unsung heroes. They do so much for so many people, and they really help, and they make sure everyone feels welcomed and warm, and they all know what it's like to struggle and be a person, and so they've got that experience and they can help you.
NEWSWAVE.
Okay, that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of NEWSWAVE. A big Chaos Radio thank you to Anneliese Warburton and Katie Mutton ahead of this weekend's By Cornwall For Cornwall event, marking World Mental Health Awareness Day. To Cllr James Mustoe, to Caroline Morris and the team at Mevagissey Rowing Club, to Zoe Woods and Helen Tanner from Chi Austel, and to Helen Wilson-Prowse from YMCA Cornwall. And as ever, a final thank you to you for listening and helping support local journalism to thrive. To catch up on all our coverage, as well as to check out our extensive back catalogue of interviews and shows, head on over to chaos.radio. And remember, if you have a local news story that you'd like to share with us, email news@chaos.radio or search Chaos Radio UK across socials. That's it, you're up to date here on Chaos. Thank you so much for listening. This is Tom Howe saying whatever you're doing this week, be sure to keep it chaos.
NEWSWAVE.
Chaos.radio. Music, podcasts, entertainment.